During the controversial SPLC hearing, Congressman Hank Johnson delivered one of the most intense moments of the entire session as he passionately defended the work of the Southern Poverty Law Center while confronting witnesses about racism and extremist violence in America.
My time has expired. With that, I recognize the gentleman from Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. O'Neill, have you ever heard the name Michael Donald?
I have, yes. I'm very familiar with the case.
How about you, Mr. Perkins? No. You don't know? You've never heard of him? How about you, Dr. Swain? You've never heard of Michael Donald before? You can cut your mic on.
I'm not sure, but maybe if you give a little more information.
He was the 19-year-old African-American black boy down in Mobile, Alabama. He's the son of Beulah May and David Donald, the youngest of 6 children. He was in community college at the time while working part-time for a local newspaper. And on March 21st of 1981, he was lynched. You've never heard of that before?
The hearing focused heavily on whether organizations like the SPLC still play an important role in modern society. But Johnson made it clear that he believed the threat of racism and hate groups is still very real.
No, I have not.
Then you did not know then that the SPLC was responsible for filing a lawsuit against the United Klans of America, whose members were responsible for lynching Michael Donald. You did not know that the SPLC had sued along with Beulah May Donald and received or obtained a judgment that ran the United Klans of America out of business.
Johnson began by bringing up the tragic case of Michael Donald, a 19-year-old black student from Mobile, Alabama, who was brutally lynched in 1981 by members of the Ku Klux Klan. As he questioned witnesses, several admitted they were either unfamiliar with the case or unaware of how deeply the SPLC was involved in helping Donald's family seek justice. Johnson explained that the SPLC worked alongside Michael Donald's mother, Beulah May Donald, to file a lawsuit against the United Klans of America.
You weren't aware of that?
I was totally aware of it. In fact, I used
Okay, well, let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. If you were aware of that, you know that they have been effective since then in running a number of Ku Klux Klan organizations out of business through lawsuits, correct? You're aware of it, Mr. O'Neill, aren't you?
Yes, I'm actually very aware of that case because the SPLC edged out Beulah May Donald, who wanted to make a video about it.
The lawsuit eventually bankrupted the organization and became one of the most significant legal victories against the Ku Klux Klan in American history.
Well, I didn't get to respond.
Hold on now. You've said that Charlottesville was a catalytic moment or a fundraising moment, both of you all have said, for the Southern Poverty Law Center. You're aware of the fact that the Southern Poverty Law Center actually forwarded to the FBI information about Charlottesville before it even happened, before Donald Trump said that the Ku Klux Klansmen down there and the anti-Jewish folks, anti-Semites, were good people. You were aware of the fact that SPLC provided information to the FBI about that. Isn't that correct, Ms. Wiley?
The congressman then shifted the conversation toward modern-day extremism and criticized claims that racism in America is no longer a major issue.
That is correct.
And they have been very effective at suing organizations, anti-Semitism, anti-racism. They have been a thorn in the side of the racist, who I'm sure sat up in their graves. Robert E. Lee, Nathan Bedford Forrest, the former Confederate general, founder of the Ku Klux Klan, and others, Stonewall Jackson, I'm sure that they stood up in their graves and saluted when Trump was elected.
Johnson pointed out that the SPLC had reportedly provided information to the FBI ahead of the 2017 Charlottesville rally, where violent clashes erupted between white supremacist groups and counter-protesters.
And when he took office, because on the first day, he eliminated all federal efforts to remedy the impact of slavery and racism in America. They call it DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Trump has tried to stop that, and the United States Supreme Court has gone along with him in ending enforcement of the ability to enforce the Voting Rights Act, which is one of the ways that you, Ms. Dr. Swain, were able to get the right to vote. I don't understand it,
May I
Ms. Wiley.
respond?
Can you tell me why it is that folks today are claiming that we have no racism in America and the only extremism we have is through left-wing groups like the SPLC, and they're targeting the SPLC? Can you tell us why?
He argued that organizations fighting hate groups should not be labeled extremists themselves while hate crimes continue to rise across the country. Johnson also criticized recent political efforts aimed at weakening diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, often referred to as DEI. He argued that civil rights protections built over the last several decades are slowly being rolled back and warned that ignoring racism only allows these issues to grow worse.
We've just seen an outright attack on all the gains of the civil rights movement for the past 60 years. And I can only say that I will never be able to explain it, but at a time when hate crimes have doubled in this country, gone up 100% since 2015, where the rise in anti-Semitism, the rise in hate against transgender people, Black people still remain the #1 largest racial group subject to hate crimes, that we have to talk about racism, transphobia, all of the violence that too many of our communities are experiencing, and no one, including any of the groups here, should experience violence.
And Trump,
I think the gentleman's time has expired. With that, we go to the gentleman from California, Mr. McClintock. I think.
During the hearing, he stressed that Black Americans still face a high number of hate crimes, and that anti-Semitism, racism, and discrimination against minority communities continue to increase. The emotional exchange quickly spread online, with many viewers praising Johnson for using the hearing to highlight historical injustices and remind people about the dangers of extremist ideologies. Others felt the hearing became overly political, but regardless of opinion, Johnson's remarks turned into one of the most memorable and widely discussed moments from the entire SPLC hearing. His passionate defense of civil rights organizations and his warnings about rising hate and division left a lasting impression on both supporters and critics alike.